This Sunday is Generosity Sunday at Emmanuel, and most of you will assume that the sermon will be about money. And you'll be right. I am going to talk about money, and I am going to ask you to pledge your gifts to Emmanuel, if you're so willing, for 2023. But don't turn me off yet. Generosity is about so much more than money. You see, God is generous in everything, and he wants us to be generous as well. He says in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, "You will be enriched in every way for your great generosity, which will produce thanksgiving to God through us. For the rendering of this ministry not only supplies the needs of the saints, but also overflows with many thanksgivings to God." You see, generosity is not just a good thing that helps others, but it's a way to say thanks to God for all that he's done for us. So we're called to be generous with our love, just as God is, loving us when we are unlovable. And we're called to be generous with our forgiveness, just as God forgives us when we don't deserve it. We are to be generous in our kindness, even when we are not fond of certain people. Reminds me of an old Dennis the Menace cartoon. It shows Dennis and Joey, his friend, leaving the Wilsons' front porch, each with a handful of cookies. Joey has this surprised look on his face, and Dennis says, "Mrs. Wilson gives us cookies not because we're nice, but because she's nice." Well, Dennis could have been talking about God. He is generous to us, not because we're so good, but because he is. We love God because God first loved us. Everything we do then should be motivated by that love. So we give generously to God and God's work through the church because God has been so generous to us. So this Sunday, come and join me as we celebrate God's generosity. Oh, there might even be cookies. Well, I know for sure we'll have donuts. We'll see you Sunday.